Hey everybody, welcome back to today's video. This is part 3 of a series that I'm doing on a master copy of Ryan Meinerding's Avengers digital painting. And I'm just doing a master copy of Iron Man, specifically his helmet, Ultron's fingers, and the scratches on the helmet. There's a part 1 and 2 of this series. I'll put them in the upper right-hand corner of the screen. You should be seeing those now. And if this is something that you like, definitely give it a like, click that thumbs up, subscribe. I'll be coming out with more of these speed painting content that will be more instructional. Let me know if this is something that you like. Do you want to see stuff like this where you get some instruction, or do you want to just see 8-minute videos of things getting completed? Definitely let me know in the comment section below. But what we will do is we'll just continue with today's video and what we're going to be talking about, and hopefully you'll learn something. And if there's something that you have questions about this process, or you want to learn something, definitely put a question in the comment section below. I would love to hear from you and answer any questions that you have. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. So overall, this painting session was was 2 hours. No, I'm sorry, it was an hour and 30 minutes. This painting session here, and I sped it up a bunch, and so this video is going to be about 16 to 18 minutes. And yeah, if you have any questions, definitely put them in the comment section below. Let's go ahead and get started. Let's see what we got here. What am I doing? I'm working on Iron Man's head. And here, what I am doing is trying to get that edge between the dark red and the light red. I'm trying to get it crisp, but not like razor thin crisp, like, you know, super sharp. I want it to be a line, like if you can see in Ryan's drawing, you definitely see a line there, but it's soft. It's not a hard edge like the one, the line on the right side that delineates the side of his head to the light red. It's not as sharp as that. There's a line, but it's a little bit cloudy. And so that's what I'm trying to do. I'm working on the shadow shape underneath the fingers, trying to get that right, but at the same time, not mess up what I already have. And now what I'm trying to do is turn the form of Iron Man's helmet from front to back. And here I'm starting to put in a little bit, some more details of the gold part of his helmet, like the different planes of his helmet, and putting that in. So the main thing is when you're drawing something, like say that part that I'm drawing right now on the gold part of his helmet, you don't want to think of stuff as lines, because there's no such, in nature, there's no such things as lines. It's a man-made creation. What there are planes. So that is a plane from the gold part of his helmet. It kind of makes a what would that be? A 45-degree turn? Is that 45 degree or 90 degrees? Oh, it makes a 90-degree turn down, and then makes a 90-degree turn forward. So it's a plane. You know, it's a machined plane, but it's a plane change. So you want to represent that by a value. Don't think of it as a line. And so what I'm doing here now is I'm just cleaning up the area between the gold part of his helmet and the red part of his helmet, the gold part that's in the light side to the gold part that's in the shadow side. I'm just cleaning it up and giving it a good shape to match what's going on in Ryan's drawing. I'm also putting in the colors and trying to give it good color harmony, working on the, what am I doing here? Oh, there's kind of like this white, it's not even white, it's this highlight, this crisp light that's going to be on the edge of the metal. And a lot of times if you go Google stuff like metal cubes or metal objects and look at them, there's going to be like, that delineates the corner, there's going to be like this white, it's not even white, white's the wrong word, because I'm not using white in here. I'm actually using like I think the gold, that light gold, I'm picking the color. And so I'm putting in those edges that I see in Ryan's drawing that are actually turns in the metal. So I know right now I just got done saying there's no such thing as lines, and they're man-made inventions, and I'm drawing lines here. But what I like those, I keep saying white, but they're not white. Trust me, and I'll explain that in a minute. I'm putting these in as representational marks because I'm going to go back in and make them a little thicker, make them look like edges are turning, and like it's metal. So I keep saying white, but it's not white. Or like, what am I doing here? I'm putting in. I clean up his eye there because I'm seeing some shapes in there, and I want his eyes to be crisp, not perfect, not the strongest edges. I don't want like, for some reason I can only think of the word fluffy. I don't want fluffy edges. I don't want like this fluffiness to them, or like, I want there to be a definite line. Or edge. So earlier I was talking about, okay, well, this white line, I'm using a white line here, and it's not white. What I'm doing is, if you take a color from the light side, that like light yellow, and you put it over to the dark side where I'm at right now, and I lay it down, it's gonna look white to us. I think the white of his eyes, I don't even think that's white. I think it's like a very light, it's very close to white, but I think there's some yellow in it, just a little bit. And you don't want to just use like stark white or stark black, because that will flatten out your drawing. So here, what I'm doing is I'm just trying to blend the edges, trying to get rid of brush marks, trying to make things a little bit smoother. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect, like this, like 4K resolution, it's turning, but I'm just trying to get rid of the brush marks, and I'm trying to make it not look like dirty, dirty colors. I know he's dirty, but like when you mix, I know that he's dirty, he's in the middle of a battle. What I'm talking about is when you start mixing colors and you're getting them from all over the place, they actually can get like this grayed out kind of brown, dirty looking color, and they're not as crisp. So I'm just trying to avoid that. So again, just zooming out here, seeing what's going on. You want to do that as well a lot. You want to zoom out a lot. Don't just be inside your drawing this close. Zoom out to kind of get a better picture of what's going on. Now, the white line that I put down here, as you can see, now I'm starting to like, okay, let me give it a shape, because it's not a line. It's part of his helmet that, it's an edge that turns back into his helmet. It's small, and so you see I'm even doing that at the top right corner. It's a small edge, and it's small, but it's still there. It's not a line, so I want to give that a shape. And I'm doing that along the different edges that I saw that Ryan is doing it. That represents a highlight of the metal turning a corner. And I think, and what I'm doing here is, I don't like how my mask is looking. I think it's making too sharp of a turn in. And so I'm just trying to fix that up. It doesn't really look as close to Ryan's as I would like to get. And now I'm just erasing some old drawing that doesn't need to be there, because again, I'm just separating the layers, and also I'm just trying to clean up the edges to make it a little bit more crisp, a little bit more delineated, that where Iron Man starts and the other part of the drawing, I'm sorry, where Iron Man's face ends and where the other part of the drawing begins. Again, it doesn't have to be these ultra crisp, razor thin lines that it's like, yes, I drew a line with the pencil like that. You can have smoky lines that are a little bit like, that are smoky, a little bit like transparent and opaque at this mix, but you just want it to be organized. If that smoky line is all over the place, it's gonna look dirty, it's gonna look jumbled. As you can see in that area where I'm drawing right now, what I did is I made a box here, and if you look in the box where the dark red and the dark side of the red and the light side of the red, where they meet, in the middle, it actually, if you're going from dark to light or from left to right, if you look at it, it goes dark red is the line, and all of a sudden you see a light red, and then within that light red, then you keep going to the right, you see it go dark red again, and then it goes light red again, and then there's that little dark red right in the middle there. So when I'm talking about making lines crisp, when in nature, when things go from dark to light, it just goes dark to light. Like if it's a smooth surface, whether it's a ball or a hand or whatever, when something's turning form, it's just going to go from dark to light. So when you can make a soft edge crisp by organizing those colors, and I actually talk about it in another drawing session, but that's what is going to make the difference in your paintings or drawings, is organizing those in the sense of going from dark to light. That's going to make the biggest difference, and that's what I'm trying to learn with digital painting. And it goes the same way. It goes the same way on the dark side and continually going dark. Like it can go from dark to light on the other side, but then there has to be why. If you look at Ryan's drawing, he does go from dark on the dark side, and it goes a little bit lighter, but then it goes dark. But our minds understand that as there's a smudge on his helmet, or there's damage on his helmet, or something's happening on his helmet. Many times, like when I draw, or maybe when you draw, I always had this issue of like, okay, I'm rendering this form. Why does this mark here look like a scratch? Why does it look like a smudge? Why does it look like a tick on their, like a tick mark on their arm? It's because I'm not organizing the color, the hues that are going from light to dark or from dark to light. And once you organize that and take it from dark to light, or take it from light to dark, whatever which way you're going, once you organize those colors or those hues, those pencil marks, it'll look more natural. So again, that's what I'm trying to do here in this digital painting, and that's what I'm trying to train my hand and eye to do, is to make those colors on, say, on the light side or even on the dark side, to go one transition and not jump all over the place where it's going dark light, dark light. So again, hopefully that makes sense. So again, if you guys have any questions, definitely let me know, but we'll continue on with what we're doing here. So getting back to the drawing, now what I'm doing is doing the dark part of his armor, in the sense of like where the helmet meets, there's like the dark seam, you know, like when metal objects are meeting, or when you close a metal object or a door, like a car door or even a regular door, or something of that nature. When you close something, there's going to be that that meeting point. And to get objects to look 3D, or to get them to look like not just an illustration, or like there's form there, you need to put in those representations of a seam being there. Now, I'm not using straight up black. Like if you looking at Ryan's drawing, we might think that the seam right on top of the middle of Iron Man's forehead, looking at Ryan's drawing, right in the middle of his forehead, where the dark gold meets the dark red, excuse me, we might think that that is black. It is not straight up black. It is it's probably a very dark brown. And again, and that's part of color theory, is understanding the colors around a specific color are going to determine what that hue, what that value of that color is going to be, and what the chroma is going to be. So I'm not going to get, so if I want to highlight, if I want like it to be a little bit lighter, I'm not going to get a gray. If I put a gray in the middle of that, in the middle of his forehead, it's going to look almost white, because it's this middle gray surrounded by these dark darks, and that middle gray is just going to pop. And so you can see here that I'm reshaping part of his forehead. I think that this is the point where I feel like his that part of the forehead is pretty steep. And so yeah, so I'm just kind of working on that, and I'm now putting in this shape here. And this comes, what I just said earlier about color really comes into play here. Look at that streak that I just made. It's the same color as the top, and it's going to be the same color on the bottom, but in the dark side, it looks lighter. It's not, it's the same color. So that's what I mean by that the surrounding colors determine what a specific color or hue is going to be. And it's called simultaneous contrast. Like, so I can take that color from the top, like that dark color you see right there, I'm taking it to the dark side. It's the same color, but it looks lighter because it's next to those darks. It's the exact same color. And if you look in the middle, it almost disappears, but it's the exact same color. So that's called simultaneous contrast. And again, all the colors that surround a specific color determine what it's going to be. So what I'm doing here, the reason I'm rotating it, another thing comes down to don't fight how you draw or how you might draw quicker, is I'm right-handed, and so your hand can only go in certain positions. So I'm rotating the canvas in order to draw these straight shapes or to get some straight lines going. And it's easier for me to do it this way. So how I quote unquote speed up is not having it right side up and just fighting it and trying to get a straight line and fighting it and erasing it and it won't give me a straight line. No, I put it into I put the drawing, and they do this in real life. I mean, this is real life, but they do this on traditional drawings as well, is they'll rotate their drawing board to a position where you have a natural flow with your hand. And I'm doing the same thing here. Is I'm trying to fix some areas, and I need to go in if the picture is the right side up, I need to go in a horizontal way. Well, it's easier since I'm right-handed, it's easier for me to make like vertical strokes. So that's what I'm doing, is I turn the drawing on its side, and I can make, I'm sorry, is that vertical? Yeah, it's easier for me to make vertical strokes. So I turn it on its side, and it's just easier for me to do it that way. Again, and that's another way of speeding it up. So what I'm doing here is I'm just going through and making sure that I like the shapes of the lines. Again, so the same thing, it's easier for me to do vertical strokes or close to vertical. So I need to do that area, and it needs to be a certain way. So I just turned it in a way to where I can make vertical strokes. And so I'm just trying to blend out the lines, just trying to get rid of my brush strokes. And it's super hard for me, but that's part of digital painting, and that's just part of learning. Is it sucks and it's hard, and you just gotta push through it. I mean, the people that are good, they're not good because they were born that way. It's like because they sat down for a few hours every day and just painted. I mean, that's all it is. So I would encourage you to do the same thing. It's about sitting down every day and putting an hour into it. If you can't put an hour, just put in 15 minutes. And then all of a sudden, after a week or two, that 15 minutes will turn into 20 or turn into 30. And all of a sudden you notice that 30 minutes turns into 45 or it turns into an hour. It's just like a marathon. And I know it sounds stupid, but you're not going to run 26 miles the first day you start running. The first day you start running, you're probably going to, and if you're out of shape like me, the first day you run you're probably going to run like a mile and you're going to be winded. And then, the next day you might run a little bit further. And then 2 weeks later, you're going to run further. The point is, it's the same thing with drawing. The first time you sit down and draw, you're not going to be able to draw for 10 hours straight. You might just be able to do 20 minutes, and then your mind just gets bored. And, okay, well, take a break. Come back to it later. Come back to it the next day. But as you keep doing it, you'll do more. So that's what I'm just trying to do here is I'm cleaning up some shapes, cleaning up some edges, putting in some dark edges where his mask meets, and I'm also trying to get rid of the brush marks. And I'm doing okay at it. It's not super bad. And as I'm looking at this right now, I can see like that top part of his helmet where the V is, or the bottom of the U. It doesn't really match it needs to be a little bit wider, and it's too wonky. It doesn't match Ryan's, but that's fine. I mean, I'm not going to go back and fix it. I'm just going to move on, and I just know that, okay, that's wrong, and it just makes me pay attention to it next time. Maybe I might fix it. I don't know. I need to keep going on this. But so here what I'm doing is just edge control, trying to get rid of the brush marks, trying to differentiate the different planes of his helmet, and you do that with shapes. You do that with paint strokes. It's not just lines. There's no lines in nature. There's highlights there, and you put in those little metal highlights. And even there, that's a little, that was a little too light. And so I'm taking that back down. I'm liking the way this is looking. And so this is what I'm talking about. I'm liking this. And if I keep fudging around with it, if I keep noodling with it, I'm gonna ruin it. And so I realized that at the top of his helmet, and I stopped and I moved on to the bottom. If I keep messing with the top, I'm gonna end up ruining it, and I'm gonna have to not start all over, but it's gonna push me back like 20 minutes. So I just like, okay, well, let me forget about the top right now. Let me get to the bottom. I'm gonna start putting in, some shadow shapes and some reflective lights, and I'm gonna just keep going. And that's what I'm doing here. And again, for me in this area, what I'm trying to do, and I know I keep saying this, but that's what I'm trying to do with digital painting, is I'm trying to learn how to get rid of my brush strokes. And it just comes from blending, and it comes from time drawing, it comes from time painting. And over time, I will get there. I'll know how much pressure I need. I'll have trained my hand to do what my eyes want them to do. And I'll be able to get rid of the paint strokes. But for now, it's fine. I'm just learning and growing. And here I'm really separating the values that are going on here. I'm making clear value changes, clear chroma changes of the color. Here, I think, yeah, I do a little color pick, because there's orange on the bottom part of his mask. There's some orange, and I'm going to do that in a minute. Between the dirty, I just call it like the dirty looking part of his helmet to the white highlight. So what am I doing here? Oh, I'm making that a darker, more delineated shape. I'm doing the same thing with the bottom of his mask, because it's the same thing. Two pieces of metal are meeting there, so there's going to be a seam. So it's not just about drawing a black line for the seam, because that'll still make it flat. You need to put like a little, I think, not that there's going to be a highlight, but if you look at Ryan's, like there's a little light piece of red, like the bottom of his chin is a dark red, a deep red, like a maroon or a alizarin crimson, like a deep red. And then right above it, there's like just a little bit lighter red. And that gives it that look of like, oh, there's a seam there. And you can see I did that on the bottom part of his gold mouth. I put the dark seam in, but on the bottom part of his gold mouth where the dark seam is, I put a little light highlight. Now that isn't white. I think that's like a dirty yellow or something. It's not white. And so if you put a white there, it's gonna look weird. So I definitely recommend you get a hold of a color theory book. I'll put a link in the description below. I think we're getting towards the end of the video, and I'm just cleaning up some shapes here, trying to get the jawline going, and everything's coming together good. Just cleaning some stuff up, and I think that is the end. So thanks everybody for joining me for today's video. I'm glad that you're taking this journey along with me. I think there'll probably be about maybe 2 more sessions on this. Hopefully it's helping you guys out, guys and gals out. If you have any questions about the process, definitely leave it in the comment section below. Appreciate your time. Have a great weekend.